다기 최신지가 손난지 졸라벤체 산게 조바쇼 산제 조단 속에 조남라 장조바도 다니가 소치 다기 최신지가 손난기 졸라벤체 산게 조바쇼 다야다 한가테 파라가테 파라성가테 보디스와 다야다 한가테 파라가테 파라성가테 보디스와 다야다 한가테 파라가테 파라성가테 보디스와 심지어 탐제도 도전하나 마치고 산지에 공부를 뭐 진행해 도와줘. 대시대는 장주스를 납자는 수신 명수랑 나와라 신고 신고를 도와를 되죠. 만나와 가지고도 가서 받을 남들이 쇼는 얘기 삼삼체.
So setting our motivation, I must do whatever I possibly can to attain the peerless state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. Knowing that to attain such a state I must perfect all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. To perfect those trainings in turn I must have a good knowledge of them, and to gain that knowledge I need to be able to rely on an unmistaken presentation. And with this in mind I'm here to listen to a talk on the graduated path teachings today.
Lama Yida Sanjay Zipa, Densu Jazu Stakan, Sosin Chazan Seta, and then a Sosin Tigate, Ya Duchen, Dakaja, Casado, and then the Casado, Ya Duchen, and the Lama Tuan Toji Chante, and Rangi Chibola Dent, Chibola Pemat Nimeta, Rangi Chibola Lama Tuan Toji Chante, and Jasu Kundu, Jamia Kundu to Decha, what did the Rangi Tago the Mark and Simja to use, some what did the Kumashe, what the
And so then, as we normally do in the context of this text, we begin by visualizing the merit field in the space in front, and that includes the main figure, surrounded by all of the meditational deities, the different tantric classes, the protectors, the dakas, dakinis, protectors, etc. And then we subsume all those members of the merit field into the main figure, who is the Guru Manindra Vajradhara, who comes to the crown of our head, and we visualize throughout the teaching that we have our Guru on our crown, who is indeed the embodiment of all the objects of refuge.
What did what did
And then all around us are all a kind mother sentient beings without exception. So we we haven't proceeded with the text a great deal since we've last seen you, because we've had new people here, and so we've had introductory kind of talks rather than dealing with the text. Because actually, in the immediate topics were the hell realms and the hungry spirit realms, and that very tasteful for a newcomer.
Excuse me, what page were we actually up to on the text?
In the text we're at page 80.
Thank you.
남주 미사와 용도 망보지 데려와 가서 안 소소 강내의 중재 아니 용되기도 또 설마지 마시 강내죠. 내 용전에 야와도 좀 계시도 딜레 강내 자대 토도
So again, I was saying, yes, for maybe newcomers, they might be, first of all, in kind of like prompted to come to a teaching initially because they are having some problems themselves. And so if they came and then hear about the problems of the hungry spirits and the it's too many problems to be killing us straight away, so turn them off straight away.
그것이 예 다이나 당고 고전 로가와 가스나디 저기 다 그나서 강망제 로트닝 버리신 그래 가스나 뭐저 디 가스나 디 주마주에 나를 주사바 되게 샥좀 지네 딱 이제 되네 대화를 줘야겠다 제도 안 삼는 되게 땅거 열어 봐.
And so, of course, we're different. Older students we, have an understanding of the full kind of context for these kinds of subjects to be dealt with, and understanding that to understand the reality of these kinds of states is to understand that we mustn't create the causes to be reborn there, and to purify. Confess and purify the causes that are on our mind streams in order to establish happiness now and to go from happiness to happiness into the future. And not to accumulate fresh causes to be born in such undesirable circumstances. Gatang jutamba. The idaki nedang. Because tonne and also the stickney song she nga. Also the Idak dragon.
디 집동에 sabbi chava yuso ore ta kanja ta nyawala kaze shu chawa ni je 가서 제 nyanga mintawa 잡게 도와 민tawa 차내게 가서 차내게 내세we nyawa 내호에 nya와서 왔다 그자 민타와 잡게스 왔다 잡게 요다 즉 잡게서 다 그자 제 디나를 뒤에 그러면 다 예와 요 되겠지 난다 디나 잡게 나다 뒤에 되게 소리다 동해 남자보다 잡게 나라 뒤에 되게 소리 차되기도 와 뒤에 되게 소리 차되다 와다 제조 동해 레레네 삼렀다네 안 랑게 다 제가 가서도 다 레사샤가 된대 요래 레사바티 아니 샤도 맞잖아 아니 다 녀와도 다 괜찮아도 되게 줘 그래 아니 온다 되게 와는 근데 용사래 냠도 스토인다 되게 나왔지 아니 미소와 쳐보여도 아니 되게 되게 왜 규되게 돼 샤통지에 아니 다가는시 사도 된데 레마사이다 배춘지에 다 배춘지에서도 아니 추정송 아니 추정송자 추정송 등에서 kom 라든 가서데 등에서 kom 다가는시 셔랍 kom전 다간제 다디 계획 교조와데 단지 머리 버지고 디니 보다메 더 베셔라고 다메 더 베셔라 부타고 용하라 등에서 kom 디부타고 용하라 추림 야보소 루가 있어 야보 동자 다 도다디 간래 그거도 왔다 된다 남의 야보 용해 쳐도 제고도 어디다 다 봉사된 디카도 봉고도 어디다 다 간잖아 단단 거죠 다음에 또 베셔라 먹으면 다음에 또 베셔라 단단 가서 이렇게 가고 싶죠 다디 다음에 또 베셔라 규다 보게 원래 땡에서 깨고도 땡에서 부다 보게 와라 룽아 예수인데 가서도 즉 추중문 와서 돈 마도가 이나 땡에서 깨 퇴 하라면 또 땡에서 사는 거죠 까마찍니 이제 검게 알 강에도 와 셈데 두면도 와 그래서 땡에서 대 영화를 추중 거기도 와 추중 거기도 와 왔다 되게 시베톤에 간토도 남을 배춘치 거에 지워들 지 다들 다 나와서 말해 이달에 다 딜에 또 자가도 이달에 다 동네들이 유효당데 다 상당히들도 어디를
So we've had a look at the different sufferings related to the various hell realms, and they're normally spoken about 18 different kind of categories of hell, but in fact there are really countless variations on those 18, being the 8 associated with the hot hells, 8 associated with the cold hells, and then the neighboring hells and the occasional hells. But and these are kind of a summary of kind of really limitless variations on the various harsh suffering that can be experienced there. And we learned how it's all the result of causes that have been created, laid down on our mind streams. And so it's absolutely imperative that we purify the causes that we have on our mind stream that might lead to being born there and to have that kind of experience, and also to restrain ourselves from collecting any such causes again in the future. So it's extremely important that we have these kind of like the overall blueprint for being able to guarantee that for us. And really it boils down to really dealing with the root cause, and that is the self-grasping at the true existence of a self-entity. And that we need to therefore to develop the direct antidote to that, which is the wisdom realizing selflessness. And that's that's kind of like really in one way the interim end goal that we have to do, because it's only by really realizing that the emptiness of such a self directly that we can really avoid creating such causes and creating this contaminated kind of karma. But we know that the wisdom itself must be founded on the kind of like the penetrating insight that is able to realize that, and that must in turn rely on sound, solid concentration. And so we need that concentration to be able to have the force of mind to be able to realize that wisdom. And that concentration in turn relies on a clarity of mind which is developed through ethical conduct. So we have there's three trainings of ethics, concentration and wisdom that are really central to the kind of practice that is needed here. And that here it's very important that we see that with ethics we have that sort of pacifying of the mind, pacifying of distractions to desire objects and objects that are going to distract us, and that without that we can't even meditate for 1 or 2 minutes without being completely distracted. So you can see its direct relationship to the cultivation of concentration, and that concentration in turn is going to really be the force, or the kind of like the fuel to be able to realize emptiness directly. And so this is something then that we must take on board and see that these practices are necessary, and then get on with practice and practice accordingly. So this is in the context of the hell realms, but it's no less relevant to the sufferings of the hungry spirits. That this is said to be a lesser degree of suffering, but nevertheless it's extremely harsh as well.
다음에 알아서 미진하로 섬서 가서 지금 차고 강에 차요. 섬서 정오 강에 차요. 어딘데 가래 아니 지금 왔다 지금 차고 강에 차be 가로 다 지금 레니 바 섬제 랑게 레니 바 가르사이바 되게 고쳐야. 대자면 섬제 생길 아니 지금 그 레니 바가 디나는 찬열게 레니 얘도 고쳐 봤어. 야 섬서 장네 강에 차be 가로. 어다 소속에 되 가서데 지금 레니 바사와 다가는 제 섬제 생 대자 맞아be 지금 당년에 소소 레사와 되다 섬제생을 레사 보면 얘도 고쳐 봤어. 섬서 어디라서 같이 강에 잡아대 지금 추주베게 튕겨를 줬더지. 어디 제도가 이나다 그 말아서 미 뭐데 고쳐 봤어. 그 남주 요바서 그 배주다 했도 와. 자기도 스케 잠때 자기도 스케 잠때는 그때 내들으실 왔다.
And so that we, as human beings, we should really use human intelligence to be able to really use the problems of heat, the problems of cold that we experience and that we find discomforting, and to be able to really, on the basis of how we feel about this, to really understand that we be able to deal with the karma that has caused this discomfort for ourselves, but and more specifically those beings who are suffering the cold hells and the hot hells, that they may be able to purify the karma there and to be released from the suffering of those hells. And that on the basis of how we're experiencing this suffering of heat and cold ourselves, and that this is something that we should be a lot more mindful of doing.
다래. sometimes 가라서야 튕겨 좀 맞아 저거 도와 내가 그냥 해 도와. 아니 저기 렌이 봐서가 심지어 렌이 소소 이다게 다 제공 동네 되게 돼. 아니 얘들 고쳐 봐쇼. 대다 동네에 타와쇼. 삼서 어디에 저기 가서 랑이 주게 잡아는 이제 공부 줘야 소리다. 아니 소소 계획사 되고 좀 와치했다. 어디에 저 가데는 지금 답실이 도와.
So that's in other words to use the kind of the very means of our life experience to more frequently engage in spiritual practice, to transform it onto the path of spiritual practice. And the same goes like for whatever reasons we find ourselves hungry or thirsty, and that to recognize that these kind of suffering feelings resulting from negative karmas that have been accumulated, and to expand that, then extrapolate out to those who are suffering in the hungry spirit realms from much more harsh hunger and thirst, and that they may be purify the karmas that led them to those situations, and to take on that. May I experience that, to really may it be the case that I can do that for them, and to use these situations to increase and expand our love and our compassion.
다들 생각 다 가라서 밀리게들 가라서 동네 마우스 기회 동네 가회 동네 나회 동네 치회 동네 아니 가라서 치회 동네 소소 저거 좀 파마 빈잘라서 저거 좀 올라서 치와되는 용도도 안데 동네 좀 되기도 하다. 안데 야데 삼도 지난 거라서 저다 거지 거봐 인상 그 동네도 용되고 디나네 당가서 다데 가서데 양 말아서 덴로다데 양 덴로다데 이나 khoaba 인자 가라서 바보 동네 중고도 학교와다 가와다 나와다 치외 동네데 아 되게 그래 왔다 뒤는 시 삼로다네 왔다 뒤 랭이 받는 중아래 아니 다 되게 가서데 랭이 바카서 뒤 고쳐봐쇼 아니 심지어 셔 뒤는 시 랭이 바사게 되다 다제 앵게디 고쳐봐쇼 되다 동네 녀모고 랭이 시험하jenjen레 타네 아니 때도 되게 교를 교와쇼 왔는데 고마시는 가봐 있네 그 삼로다 유에 되겠지 다 말라강에들도 좀 맞기버제 깨겨 선팜대로 처음부터 왔다 딜레 디 아니 그래서 랑게 최주에 튕겨는 샤잖아 아니 잡아도 이제 약게 나해 아니 되네 마음바 딜레 동에 때도 뭐요 교주에 돌아 배치 따도나 아니 딜레 동에 좋아대 딱 고쳐서 차와 어디를 딱 가갈 이제 진짜 간 소소 삼로도 진짜 가도나 야보인 바래 완전히
And recognizing also that even though born as a human being, we are nonetheless subject to the various sufferings of birth, old age, sickness, death, etc., etc., and that having relatives die and other people having that we know and close to suffering and so on. But we have to understand that this is part and parcel of being in a cyclic existence, that though this human rebirth is classified as a fortunate rebirth, yet it is also inundated with suffering just the same, and that the personal sufferings that we have accumulated are again directly related to the negative karmas that we have accumulated, and that we again use that opportunity of our own personal experience to expand out and encompass the all sentient beings, that of course whatever negative experiences they are having, with the sufferings that they are having in related to the ones I am having, may I take on that suffering for them, may they not have to experience discomfort and suffering and so on, and to kind of develop our own love, compassion, not to mention our own courage in the face of these cyclic existence sufferings, rather than taking the attitude of, oh, poor me, how terrible, I'm so unfortunate, and getting into that sort of selfish depression. And that we need to see that all the occasions of life give us the opportunity to transform them into spiritual practice, so that we can lay down the causes to go from happiness to definite happiness in the future.
what the 내단 찾아 저기 동네 근데 좋아이네 어다지 최주배 통계를 배주다 디기 근데 저 최주배 통계를 배주당 저도 이나 인지 이제 참 대시 제마도 봐 임바이네 소수 미세 최다 투바 야고 좋아지 그러와 최다 봐디 아니 검시라 자네 안디 검시대 랑게 지가서다 지가서다 미도 심바줄에 있는 검시도 자다 가서다 깔짤깔짤스도 왔다 깔 된대기 깔짤지 자투나 마 자투가 있나 최 좁스는 지금 뒤주 심바 때 먹어 자 가라줄에 용대에 아니 최를 배주 땅 좋아 있나 아니 거다 랑싱 최 자되기도 와 맞아 단다 가라줄 지금 용대에 되게 아니 가서도 너무 게다 코알라 때도 내다 무트는 동에 텐데지를 배주 땅으로 다 뛰면서 무엇이 배터는 뛰 좋아 땅답 제
So really this is advocating for nothing less than cultivating a culture of Dharma for ourselves and for our own reality, and that whatever the situation, be it the arising of suffering or the arising of happiness, and that we have become adept at transforming that into a spiritual, virtuous practice, and that comes from our own habitual outlook that we have developed into our spiritual culture, so that even if we don't have the opportunity or time to engage in retreat or formalized practice in that way, nevertheless we are turning every moment of a day and whatever the situation whatever comes for us into Dharma, and that is really the ultimate goal for us, rather than when whatever comes using that, or it using us to cultivate the mental afflictions and to continuously keep us in cyclic existence and so on. We take charge and we say, I'm cultivating a culture of Dharma practice here.
왔다 된데 스타트 와이나 아니 지금 가서도 참자고 되는 시대 마도 봐 이마이네 딱 가서 미지 된다 된바 차버래 직전에 참참 남주 참대도 쉬울 때 어서하고 때 남주 도나며 봤잖아 그 참대와 싫어 좀도 와 야지 샤도 다 뒤다다 되는 저는 제 저도 와이나 그 사모 당당하게 토네 파이 좋아 당샤로다 좋아 당샤도 그 용어는 너 뒤치 그래 뒤네 그래 아니 그 직전에 디펜도 땡대 차용도 하고래. 땡대 차용도 하고. 어디고 딩거 검실을 자잖아. 검실을 자는다. 저희는 것도 관계 배수 제고도. 근데 제도 와인 것들 받지 요 말이야. 어디 점점 지 받지 마요 같이 다 소소 지 가서도 다 지금 대화 요사들 아니 가서도 블레싱 치료지 랍되게 요다데 디 블레싱 용금에 따지러 와. 소소 제마도 블레싱의 산재의 자주 쓰면 그 뒤에 가서 추준이 시작해 샤마도니가 벨레싱 유야버던 거라 좋아하게 되면도 소소만의 직접 맞도나 왔다까지 디제 또는 발제 요 말이 발제 촌 요 말. 강가 추어도 통경 쇠샤로 와. 근데 발제 요 말로 와.
So that if we can really adopt this whole lifestyle attitude to really be ready to transform every experience into spiritual practice, even if then we don't have any time for retreat or opportunity for retreat, we are nevertheless making this life meaningful, and that this is really nothing less than the moment by moment thought transformation, and being able to do this like 24/7. It's very, very important, and that and it's when you develop this way of thinking, of being able to deal with these feelings as in the right way, and developing it as a habit, it actually is a very, very efficient way of counteracting the mental afflictions tendencies that are always there as well. They kind of really automatically oppose those kinds of minds arising. Not only that, but also it facilitates our capacity to bring benefit. It brings benefit not just to ourselves but to those around us as well. And so it's for all of us to try to live a life like that. And also, when we have developed this as a habit, as our own culture, it also means that we also deal with obstacles so that they don't arise. We don't have obstacles when we have an attitude like that. It's not like People, we come and we ask for a blessing in order for this particular purpose or that particular purpose. It's these are nice, but not necessary. And that if we haven't got a culture like this, even then, if we have the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas 24/7, they may not be that beneficial to us. But when we have developed this as our own inner culture, then there are no obstacles for us to overcome. We're looking at every experience and being able to deal with it through the lens of our spiritual life. So we're looking at the hungry spirit realm and the beings in the hungry spirit realm. The suffering there is characterized by great hunger and thirst, and that it is an inconceivable degree of suffering. From the letter to a friend, it says, "The hungry ghosts are also bereft of the things they desire. This gives rise to continual suffering, aggravated by most intolerable hunger, thirst, cold, heat, fatigue, and fear." 지바 시도 좋았으면 왔다 된데기 냠타바 아니 바사주 투주메 대서메 강에 시우 제가 어디에 섬에 이다라 치 지바 젤라 사돈라 소바 녀자 미니 그래서 녀세자서 그래서 출론다 준신다 제부제 통네 롱주도 침바나 다간제 이제서 카시고 건도다 비가 추지도 선자지 다 갈래 짬 쪼쪼쪼 비가 줘도 주메야 되지 제당 소로처럼 어디를 인데게다 다간제 어디를 전 다간제 즉 신도를 두 선자제도 비가 줘도 신도 매야 되고 다간제 즉 소수 다세 통에 대 소수 동해 용에 소소면 또 세디가 편도 용도도 어디는 다간제 레고 오게 어디를 용되고 서로 어디 롱주도 침바나 아니 지금 아니데 매바 차트에 양 그때 여바이나 딜 송긴게 천자라서 바토네 어떤 다 송긴데 연은 지금 소소 딜 롱주에 매바 차야 어떤 소하다 아니 야나는 나타라서 바던데 주네 아니 지금 오늘 세피다 보면 이거 차트에 나타다 나밤 야나 미나와 좋아하나 야나 가야 통에 매가차 롱주도 매가 동해차 어디를 다 난게 되버잖아 나 치트바 난게 되버잖아 그자 카카미점 잡아 파부여야 되겠잖아 사토와 이나다 같이 사 미바나 마토마도 같이 베터 미바나 좋아이나 또와도 첨부 시우잖아 자마도 어떤데 아니 다강에 여야 되겠지 아니 근데 이번에 나로는 매바네 그때 또 하나 내봐이나야 매바네 아니 지금 세디 다다 롱제마도 했다 동에 디 세디가 동에서 되지 용대 저거한테 교토들 줘요. 요거서 어디자. And so that here we are encouraged to really reflect on the kind of the sufferings of the hungry spirit realms, characterized by having very hideous appearance. They're being totally destitute, miserable, and incredibly fearful, and that here, more specifically, the sufferings of the problems or obstacles of hungry spirits are divided into different categories. There are those who have external obscurations, And so here it's they have the ability to see food and drink in the distance, but they find, though they find it, they might as well not have found it, because they might say, oh, there's water over there, but when they go, it's transformed into something else, or there's some obstacle. They might see fruit trees in the distance, and again, when they go to use it, they have major issues to deal with, such as guardians who are guarding the water and the fruit trees, brandishing weapons and completely preventing them from getting anywhere close to them, or what appear to be water and fruit in the distance turns out to be pus and blood, or indeed it's a mirage. They go there and it's vanished, it's no longer there. So even though they have the ability to see, that the food and drink don't create any benefit for them, but only problems. And so they have this kind of tremendous sense of frustration, obviously, that goes along with that as well. And then there are the inner obstacles, those who have inner obstacles, and these are characterized by having a mouth which is as narrow as the eye of a needle, and their throats are as thin as one hair of a horse's tail, and their limbs are like as thin as blades of grass. And so again, though they see food, though they see drink, and they find it, they might as well not have found it, because when they kind of try to eat it, it won't fit down into their mouth. They might get it down into their mouth, it won't go down their throat. If they get it down to their throat and they get down to their stomach, they get no sense of satisfaction, because of course they have huge stomachs as well. And so here it's a case of our reflecting on that this is all the results of karma, and they have created the karma to experience this, and that we have also these kinds of karmas on our mind stream. If they meet with the cooperative conditions, there's no escape, but that we will have to be born into that sort of situation, and we have to consider how could we cope with that sort of suffering. And that here, of course, it brings with them, the generation of new mental afflictions like anger, hatred, and so on for their own situation, and through the frustrations that they experience. And so again, there may be obscurations in the food itself, where the food transforms into fire when they try to eat it.
가서 이다게 가서라다 지금 세나 제네다 이다 게티고 요라다 소 세나 되고 요라다 진짜 아니 되나다 세나 제네다 되나 제다 도자사 셰다다 나제다다 되게 오게다 세나 제대 연구로 왔다 어디를 제다가 이제 세나 제 아니 다가는 시가 지금이었다 지금
Somebody
Has
somebody come? Was a maybe a bird trying to get in?
Maybe some Henry was. What the Taka Rota Senachen and what in the chat Senache Tata Shenga no Tropata, Kubata. To get the Yugurwata, what in the Chantaka just Senache, and yeah, Chibatangi Lamen, Chimamatawache, Kokota, Yugurwata. And she get in Yugurwa.
So that the various causes that give rise to rebirth in the hungry spirit realms are first and foremost a sense of miserliness, the characteristic of miserliness, not willing to give anything. And also, involved in that is also attachment, aversion, hatred, and so on. These kind of contribute, but mostly it's this sense of covetousness, miserliness, not giving anything, promising to give and then changing your mind, not giving, or creating obstacles even for others to give. Anything like that is going to create a cause to be born in this reality. And so they might even give and then regret afterwards, like that they shouldn't have given in the first place.
어디를 다들 초바도 구바도 다 나서 거 다가 가이나면 어다데 된데게 레다 삽쳐부 싸와인데 레 차부서 싸 아니 싸와데 녀부터 시거는 샤도 맞아봐 이나 아니 샤도 맞아봐나 다 레데데 줘봐니 겐다 체도다 계속으로 와다 계속으로 와.
And so it's simple as really having, accumulated karmas such as these, not engaging in the confession and purification practice through the four opponent powers, and then meeting with the cooperative conditions, and suddenly you are in that reality, you're born into that reality.
We are
We are all one is.
Yeah, that is what I think what the Jensen Sasha, and Shangchi Sasha, Tua, Mizashi, Namba, Jingawa, Taka, Never Jawa, Zamla Sato Cheto, so that can Naranzo the Deva, not Saya Pam Madog and Cheta, Napa, that Zobotanjachi. Lubata, not what at the nature judgment of Sepita will launch air, Kajiji launch air, join the nation of the launch air and go to your two, Penangaranzo, Chu 20 euro. Then let some top chamber saga so Pena was a call by him by there. Coena top chamber, let top chamber saga in Baina, and do see now, Pena had to do see now take it. Tangaranzo, the Gaza de Garanzo Tata de Chuna take it. Yidagi. 간나 되겠으나 나타나 되겠다. 다 소소 레고 온게. 수강 속에 요마다 소소 레고 온게다 데데스 롱 멘도 롱체나 추 롱체 등도 추나한테. 되제 롱체는 두고도 되제 나한테. 나타 다 되게 롱체 맞아서 나타나한테. 야는 가야만 한 게지. 다 레톱 체중 요구도.
So you can see how all of these realities arise in dependence upon karmas. And so all of this is karmic appearance, and that we are all subject to the karmic appearance of our particular reality. So that if you have, say, a glass of water, if you're somebody in the celestial realm, this will, to their karmic appearance, appear as nectar. To us as humans, it seems like a glass of water. To somebody from the hungry spirits, that's pus and blood. And so we are confined, really, to our own karmic appearance. And that, that's how we can use the objects of existence in that way.
아니 디발은 지금 여와이네 소소 레그 마다와 인사 라그면서 딱 뭐서나 라데지 딱 그래 드리스 뭐하잖아 뭐서나다 딱 미마이 딱 이다다 데들 인스파 뭐하잖아 아니 거라서 라데지 망원나 라그에서 말이야 나라도 들 망원에 나라도 나다 지금 롱제 정도도 와 그러와 딱 거기서 망와봐이나 말하겠지 근데 내서다 지금
And so in the context of hungry spirits, the process of dedication becomes very important from our side. That in fact it's seen that there may be something to eat, and that there is a hungry spirit in the vicinity, but unless we dedicate it to them, they can't use it, they can't make use of it. Once we dedicate, then that allows them to be able to partake of that food and drink.
And you san Sanjay Komato didn't watch it that Javashane, Tomachi, what in the chain. In a Koran, that leg won't be with that you somebody. In that Jimba the Ragiota.
And so that doesn't mean that they can really, gain a great deal from that food or drink nonetheless, because they are still subject to their karmic obscurations with regard to it. But certainly better than not being able to partake or use that food at all. And so it's important from our point of view that when we are dedicating, that we are kind of specific in that way, that we dedicate, so that those who have such karmic obscurations, may they be able to purify those obscurations, that they may be able to take a precious human rebirth, increase their love, compassion, etc., etc., and that we dedicate all that, as in the act of giving, so that the hungry spirits and those beings can partake of what is given. So it's sur again. I'm not familiar. Again, it's describing having sort of
practice.
There's an actual practice.
Zamba and put butter mix, and then
you burn.
You
have a fire.
Very red fire. So, but pass the transformation practice, and then keep that. Sometimes one generate what's called jealousy. Jealousy cook ranch and by ninja come and by ita tire with the and the chibatan.
And you go to the mela.
Zamba ma tejeta and the ita chin. Ita chin, that chibatan, the name the chain good one.
So again, the thing is, you generate yourself as Chen Rezig, as Avalok Shivara, and develop a strong compassion, and then visualize all hungry spirits all around.
All inviting.
And invite them all. And then you mix the tsampa, the barley flour, with the butter, and then place it in the fire, little balls of it, little pieces of it in the fire as you do the practice. So like
and together and che money and they no money jangu something and che and lenya basene and chekaso tenjo luteni and sanje temata chen and sanje komata what the jutuba jungsu samsa what the chibatana and chibai rebacha and social nyam
and so the objective is not just that they can partake of that particular food, but of course that through hearing the Dharma, especially the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra, that you're continuously reciting, that they can purify the karmas that have them in the hungry spirit realms and overcome those obstacles and obscurations, and being able to purify that and take a precious human rebirth, develop love and compassion and so on, and proceed along the path to enlightenment. So this is all part of your motivation. And then with water as well. You can and so that with that pouring of the water from the vase, that you also use this as a giving practice. It's a giving to the hungry spirits, specifically for a hungry spirit practice. It's called sur.
Chudor. Water.
So chudor is the water practice, and then with the tsampa and the sur.
In the jails about that, Ran Cheres and to get the Kangala and the jingle lap chen. Object the jingle lap, and it did that Chibachingu, some such an Nubacha Yorba. The house started with that. Like a young man that the Ran Cheres Kurke and the Chibatangu, some such an what it is, and Chuda Cheres Kurke, the Dreamer Kurke, and Chudia jingle up. Jingle and using water and parties and Backgrounds take part the Tiba Karsa, the Lunga side home, Chatu is a chizu to make jingle of Yanacheres, jingle of yourself, water the Chudors and Yamlet the Chayon.
So that, of course, this is not something that is casually done. One is actually proceeding on the basis of like a blessing practice, so that
the object or transformation nectar. Yeah, Sierra, the town, Ran Hake, Sierra, and just Jamalike, and object that the Chibakartang and Tigan guy, and transformation check. You then Tombacha Tombang, and do think war juni. 아니 받지 못한 거예요 삼사천.
And so that it becomes like blessing through your being able to transform the substances that you are giving, be they something to drinkables and edibles, but that's possible only when you generate yourself as the deity, be it Chenrezig or Tara. And that here it's specifically generating and performing as the deity, so that you then transform through emptiness. Out of emptiness, the drink and the food is transformed into nectar and so on. So it's blessed food and drink that has been passed on, and so that they can partake of it, and so that it also will affect their purification of obstacles, the karmas for their obstacles as hungry spirits, and so on.
다 되네 임바 인사 먼저 남주 이제 제대로 미간게 지신 거로 와. 이제 다디 잠말에 다 개치슈데 가서 연종 장주가 셈 양답에 따와 되게 야고 씹었잖아. 되게 삼로 유에 토네 왔다 집어이나 딱 된데 편도요 그래. 맞다. 디면에야 아니 점점 딱딱 맞지 받는 용식으로 와. 야 딱딱 맞지 받는 용식으로 와. 야 용식으로. 야 점점 야 컨트롤 디르라 산이 맞은 순내밖에 되네 용세 그래. 다 자랑 제레스 고샤 자주가 생 군을랑. 동네게 따와다 되게 저시 약고 여버터는 제바이나 군뇌에 줄 말이야. 야서 제 모두 밀레다라 드린 빌레서는 웰컴 약고쇼 칼라테바다 산일레서는 웰컴 맞잖아. 콜롱을 하기도 하. 어디를 건서야 콘도 사쳐줘 여러분.
And so that one must have take some care actually with this practice as well, due to the easily deluded nature of the hungry spirits, because if it's not done correctly, anger might come from them, or if you invite them and you don't go through with the practice, or you don't continue.
No, usually but normal, but we are normal person. Today they are come, we offer food and tea. Next day come, we didn't offer. They're upset. Similar.
Yeah, so hungry spirits might be like that as well. So it really, from the point of view of the practitioner engaging in this practice, they must have to have cultivated to a great extent renunciation, bodhicitta, and correct view of emptiness. And coming from that kind of like depth of understanding and realization, really, that one generates and then engages in this kind of practice.
라 제레스 베 나게도 제레스 나게다 아니 세나 가자 세고 차도 아니 나랑 라심메와 제레스 나와도 유대는 맞고 라심메와 강도도 세나 야고된 도와체 아니 디토네다 제네 아니 잡아다 니제다 되게 공부시했잖아 아니 이다도 되는 제나 그래서 라신네 딱 가자 이다도 딱 가자 수 데디슈 제 가서 페로실라 아니 대체 아니 되게 건가에 아니 트랜스포메이션 제나단다디 뇌다 아니 소르다 되게 건가 대체다 간제 지금 되게 건가 가서 강톱도게 뿌다부제디 다가서 모든 남주 요다 인터넷 많이 배잖아 남주 모두 밀어 칼라다 도나스가 요마르와 근데 많이 배잖아 강톱도게 아니 지금 하이가게다 센나스 하강 세우 로라 차투도제 아니 돈이가 따와대 강투도 아니 자주가 셈데 강투도 삼다 어디서 제바이나 아니 평유에 치부여야 되게 아니 니마 지금 섬서 제마도 봐이네 뇌게요 말이야 다들 내가 남주 가서 지금 밀어대다는 시 제바이나 니마 지금 야 섬서 제마도 봤잖아 한테서 콘도 사네야 뇌게들의 용시 그래 무슨 거뒤에 제도가 이거 말와.
So that's yes, it just requires that one takes great deal of care with such a practice, developing what's known as the divine pride of, for example, Chenrezig, and that comes from, of course, being able to view oneself as Chenrezig as empty of any inherent existence arising out of that emptiness, and to being able to really have a full understanding of, for example, one of the main causes of being a hungry spirit, of that miserliness, and that and to kind of like really be able to only invite when one has reached that point of the practice where one sees oneself with that divine pride of being the deity and so on, understanding exactly what this practice is about, and then one invites the hungry spirits, and that the what is to be given as food, what is to be given as drink, has been transformed, as we said, into nectar. So it is offered as a blessing. And that here, once we move from that point of the seeing oneself as the deity, being have that assurance, that divine pride, and moving out of emptiness, then there is every possibility that what one is doing is going to be of benefit, and that there will be no kind of harm as kind of a side effect. And so this is to avoid, for example, the kind of like how do you say, unprofessional way of doing things is, when you maybe give it one stage, then a guest comes again and you don't offer them again, and so that they might get frustrated, that guest, they might get angry, they might even engage in some sort of harm towards you. So it's not to be kind of like a casual or everyday kind of practice, but when you're really ready for it.
What is it? And so get the yeah, 차단 제사 아니 최대저 바 최대저 바 셰바 소리지 다 이제 디데큐레 잠바데 이제 용다다는 지금 선보sambu 냠내 제다 데데가 토래 아니 거 데데달에 아니 또다도 고소 삼삼체 아니 말이지 아니 데나다 라라 소소내서 송쇼스 하 교스라고다 다 찾아서 다 라라 소소내서 손에는 잠바데 이제 거네 냠내 지쇼가 승소지.
And so then one can accompany that generosity with substances, also with the generosity of giving them a Dharma teaching, talking about the importance of their developing loving kindness and compassion, and how that is very, very key, and that once you delivered that message, you can actually then formally tell them, now you can go. You can go and go practice. Wherever you've come from, you can return.
Goodbye, son.
Bye.
사도 제도사 가지네 랑게 샤제다 사와다 가제도 조고도는 사주 말하는 소주 샤제다 제도 사고야 되다. 그러다 가라서 로로 마셔와 소스도 다들 가서는 레기 남바미 버들이 녀도 탐배 되겠지. 가라서 다는 가라서 동해디 다들 녀매 봤다. 아 동해디네 녀에 다들 통매와 있어 로로 마셔고 소스도 어떻게 근데나 소스 샤찬 그런 사기로 삼사도 다 된데 지금 된데 요자래. 그러다 미사셨어. 콜레스테롤 어제 어디를 전 다가 저 소소 샷 저 소소 젠的 撒回了 사오자 안에 장마다 상부 사통 주민도 다 거래가 온게 장마다 사통 주민도 가시네 이야기 되소 다세 사실 군기에서 되소 니세 장와 동에 왔다 다 오늘 전에다 계속 지금 소소 차와 제거다 제대 이나들 야 장외 동에 요한테 장외 동에 용거다 야 같이 차와 제거에 돼 야데 되게 장외 동에 요대 장외 제거에 야 차외 동에 요다 거다 고도는 좋은데 그도 거 레그 넘버 톱치 부시고 요한테 가지는 양락이 루고 미택시 사동 저다 소소 소고 배 쳐다 조마도다 강에시 우리 채는다 최외치도 초고도 요하나 내외 동에다 동에 과도에 봤다 가제도 칼라 배다 사주 마라도 아니 다주 야마 저고도 강에 요요로다 아니 이다 원체외 충원 넘때보다 이다 나래배 톱치존 나서 요바 인사 가셔 tunje 가자 야부들 요되게 요구요다 그 톱치존 나서 요바 인사 이다 원체외 충원라 대바다 안 다가는 제다 미다 킬라 소바 직접 잡았다 그래 어때게 동에 요대 세제네 절에 다와 니샤 지게 나자 셰 송바다 민남게 다와 지라 샤지도 제베 라로 나자 투가 송신서
So then further sufferings also, we have the inner and outer obscurations that they have, and then there are obscurations within the food and drink itself. And there are those hungry spirits who are known as those with tongues of fire, such that whenever they partake of any food or drink, it automatically combusts and burns away before they can get anything from it. And then there are those who are known as the eaters of excrement, that they have only feces and urine to eat and drink. And they're always like a very dirty and very smelly, putrid. And they have no, only kind of inferior things to eat, of the kind of really deplorable quality of food and drink. Stuff that we couldn't possibly face and couldn't possibly even conceive of being able to partake. So it's like, these kind of situations as well, that we have no direct experience having seen this kind of suffering. We find it hard to conceive of that in our own minds, but we have to understand that this is all due to karmas that have been created, and that these are people who have to experience these results, these ripening results, because of that. And so we have the same possibilities on our mind stream. You have to be aware of that. And there are also then other obscurations. So for example, that there are some hungry spirits who cut their own flesh to eat when they haven't got anything else, and that they cannot make use of any kind of decent food or drink in any shape or form, and that there are some then have particularly sensitive to temperature, such that for some even in summer, even the moonlight is hot and scalding for them, and even in the winter the sunlight is freezing for them. So they're very, very sensitive like that. And others are characterized with tremendous sense of exhaustion, having to go hither and thither looking for food and drink, with very kind of like spindly limbs, so that they can't support their body. So they have this sense of kind of type of chronic fatigue all the time. And that there are others, and within the realm of hungry spirits, there are also those who are more and those who are less powerful. And there's a tendency for those who are more powerful to hunt and beat those who are less powerful. And hungry spirits are also very fearful of human beings, very fearful of dogs, etc. So they have this real wide variety of sufferings. And then it talks about the length of time of a lifespan. And according to the Abhidharma, it says that hungry ghosts live for about 500 years. And here, these are 500 hungry spirit years, in which 1 month of a human time is equal to 1 day of their time. So that this calculates as something like 15,000 years human time.
다 temba니 샬레 민남게 로줄라 다와직도 제가 랑롱압자 투바 소베 텔라 밀로 봄쪽에 유도스 이다소 계wen 균에서 다 이다 계wen 균데는 다 차바 세나 낙셈 다 마젠 렘바바 마젠 렘바소 일라서 다 이다소 계wen 균데라 차바 로다 되자고 되자다 차바 그랬다 세나 제대 균올라 소바도 창네 균을 집다 두고 요 말와야 차바 용어로다 차바다 아니 세나 납세 셴게 균올라 소바도 소소를 주나 삼사지 어르다 납세 더 마침을 봐 어때 나와서 이베서 동에 되나 미되나 대다도 기회주 나사요반 다 심한 동발라 배바 저거서 나사요반 되겠대 님부터 없이거나 샤동지에 아니 다 지존되는 말이야 동지 지에서도 하고 그래.
So, and then there's another calculation for lifespan from the mantra or the Sutra of Close Mindfulness, where it says that 10 human years are equivalent to 1 month of the hungry spirit time. This is again given that they say that a hungry spirit lives for 500 hungry spirit years. Anyway, the calculation there is that the lifespan of a hungry spirit would be 1,800,000 years of human time. So then they talk about the causes that give rise to such a rebirth. Again, as mentioned before, attachment, miserliness, covetousness, stealing, taking what has not been given, And we talk about miserliness being characterized by holding on and clinging to what one has, whereas covetousness is really clinging to what one hasn't got and wishing to have it. And so, again, saying if we don't want to have that kind of suffering, then we need to deal with the causes, and that means purifying such causes that we already have on our mind stream, and then restraining ourselves from accumulating them anew.
미치기 인데 잘라지 고마자바이나 배나 고무치 고마자바이나 고무치기 이제 봐서 좀 말봐 미치 단디 고무치기 민가게 임바이나 고mon가급에 이제 봐 용택도 하다 똑치 주고다 다디 고무치기 계급적인 임바이나 계급들다 포퓰레이션 가서 임바이나 되게 용택으로 와 로하다 다디는 잠불이 차상 오아이나 잠불이 차상 될 그 미카세나 케데 지금도 케마다 디가지가 똑치 주 용고도 와 그래서 된대게 내가 주고도 왔다 그랬다
And so therefore, as well as this purification and the power of restraining from accumulating such karmas again, we need to really contemplate and reflect on the faults of attachment, for example, looking at the faults of miserliness, the faults of covetousness, the faults of stealing and taking what has not been given, and to really, like, for example, consider, when we talk about the clingingness of holding on to our own stuff and not wishing to let it go, to really see that actually the essence of our possessions, what we have, is accomplished in its giving, and to really look at it from that point of view. And also looking in terms of the different degrees of what stealing, what it means to steal. So that, like, if we steal from one other person, that's the negative karma of stealing from one. But if we steal from more than one person, say 5, then we're kind of multiplying the negativity of that karma by stealing from 5. If we steal then from a whole nation, that again multiplies the severity of that. Or we steal from, in a worldly sense, from all of life, humanity, that increases that the negativity, the heaviness of that karma manifold. And that's so it's important for us to look into the details of how insidious these particular negative mind states can be for us.
근데 걔도 돌아찍으면 멤버 있네. 돌아찍으면 멤버 있네. 아니 돌아디 찍대 딱보 망력이 대받치 주는 것도 와. 딱보 밸런스. 딱보 민가게 딱 돌아찍대 민가게 이바이나. 아니 민가 다 내받치 차는 것도 와. 걔 지금도 걔야 말와. 아니 걔가 배나 오스트레일리아서로 지금 걔가 그 돌아찍 캐와 있나? 오스트레일리아 배나 사인 이슈장이 싹소 지와 있나? 대 차도 사인 싹소 와.
So it's like the amount that is stolen, for example, in terms of the stealing, is not the issue. If you steal $1 from one person, then it accumulates the negative karma of stealing $1 from one person. But if you steal $1 from 5 people, it's still only $1. So it's belonging to those group of 5. That increases the negativity of that karma 5-fold, because you've stolen from 5. And if it's still only $1, but you steal from all of Australia, that's the stealing from 24 million people. Or is it 24 or 25?
25. Yeah.
25. So another even more.
뭐다도 그 지르다. 걔 찍면도 걔면 뒤 찍면도 뒤가 용만 레모도 왔다. 졸라데 딱고 가제도나 들어보고 용되기도 와.
So it's still only $1 that you've stolen, but now it's affected by the fact that you've stolen from 25 million.
딜레다 규축부 있잖아. 졸라 밀레 니시장가 캐잖아. 디 겹상치아도 와. 그럼 규축부지. 미 규축부잖아 졸라 밀리 니시장아 캐샤와이나 대다 오스트레일리아 흉에 졸라 찍혀왔잖아 규축부잖아 졸라 니 밀리 니시장아 캐는 디캡사치아도 봐 캡사
Kepsang
Kasa-
딕바이야 돼.
대과 여러 봤다 졸라 사이 니시장아를 하기로 와 오스트레일리아 미 강가서는 졸라 찍혀와이나 사이 니시장아 차오로 와
아니?
졸라 찍으면 아요 말와
Right. So again, we're saying so that if you have a rich person who is stealing a great deal more from the Australian nation,
야
it's more profitable to
그래서
steal more than it is.
대과 졸라 사이 니시장아면 영 말와 또 오스트레일리아 개갑잖아 졸라 찍혀와이나 사이 니시장아 미 사이 니시장아 여러 와 소 사이 니시장아 대과 용거 졸라 찍으면 아요 말와 미 규축부잖아
So okay, so it's kind of like, so if you steal only $1 from 25 million Australians, like that's not much of a profit for you. So you might as well go big and steal a lot from the 25 million. At least you get more out of it.
Yeah, one family. Yeah, one family. Yeah, one family. 찍들 졸라 찍으면 배주 당해요 말아.什么도 졸라 사이 니장아 배주 당해요.
So it's like you can't do much with $1, but if they have a good few, if you steal millions, then you can do a
It's
lot.
only joking. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
그래. 다 진짜 뭐서 섬저 딘주 내단 저저 신발 제바이나 아니 지 개그 그 딘주라 뭐서 뭐 배주 당해로 사무실이 와.
So it's not important to know this kind of information, isn't it? Because when dealing with the governments of countries and so on, that when we are involved with the monies coming from governments and so on, that we have to be very, very careful in how it's used.
Yeah, government also organization.
Big organizations, yeah.
어디들도 다만 저 된데게 내가 다 된데게 톱 첨부 된데게 디고 톱 첨부 사되게 줘서 다 된데게 이달에 계속도 와 어디가 다 되게 템바 전에 딱 그저 랑게 다이다 된데지 이다지 깨와는 다 뺏사사래 다 쇠다 코라민도 쇠 코라민도 어디다 something 아니 안다디 주가리샤 오다 주디리샤 되자리샤 다가니 세나리샤 안 납섬리샤 아니 다 맞을래서 어떻게 되리샤 오 다들 쇠다 다들 규디 마가 보다 제보도 못으로 영 되게 아니 소소라 오다 되자 두개 민도 어서 거기서 단타들 가서 다가를 레 다가자 뭐래 세나 두개 민도 아니 낙섬 두개 민도 맞을래 두개 민도 소소서 제바체네 소소서 제바체네 오 도나 다 삽사체 개쳐 보인 거라
And so therefore, like, this is where we need to be now very mindful, concentrating and focusing on the causes, because we can see with little reflection how unbearable these kinds of sufferings related to the hungry spirit realm would be. And so the causes, and so reflecting on miserliness, attachment, covetousness and stealing, and to really saying, okay, I need to do something about these causes, because if I don't, then the results are inevitable and they're going to happen. And so it's a case of really looking into purifying, of course, but into saying how, attachment is no benefit, no use to me. I need to really
다 두개 문도 소소 제바체네 소소로 착바 두개 민도 세나 두개
so to really see to what extent I am kind of ruled by attachment, and to what extent my own character is dominated by miserliness, by covetousness, by stealing and taking what has not been given, and so on, and all of the variations on that have been briefly looked at, and to kind of really rectify that and to really set one's mind properly.
어디 아니 대도 여만이나 다 개침부스네 아니 대 숙초다 다 내가 소답지고도 어디
And so that when we see or we become mindful of the degree to which we are miserly or covetous and so on, that we are very honest and say, well, I must be extremely careful. I must actually reduce the extent to which my mind is affected in this way, and with the goal of eradicating such miserliness, covetousness, etc. completely.
어디 뒤져봐나 마음발라 그때 마스다 저부터 많이 쭉 가도 왔다 주가마도는 저부터는 용되기다 어디 땅갈 사바데 아니 녀부터 없이 거는 샷좀 쳐 어디
So that is the way in which the guarantee that I won't have to experience the resultant sufferings related to these causes, because I'm dealing with it. I'm focusing at the causal stage. I'm not allowing these minds to arise, and I'm backing that up by engaging in proper confession and purification using the four opponent powers.
둔둔남네 레시 때모보다 찌라 지 사회 동네 사회 미차고 유스다 사회 미차고 유스.
Then the other lower realm is the animal realm, and the animal realm is characterized by ignorance and stupidity, and that here also they have the inconceivable sufferings related to one eating the other. They are eating each other.
어디다 둘이 진기에서 내내 자와 자주 전부 추자 면체지에서 뭐봐 신도 나버 그래서 르본다 도이 나서봐 그래서 주의 풍부받아를 더블 유자 대 나도 란이 개발 삼대로 대대시 나로 소소 개발나 그게 정사래 삼대서 둘도 체외 중화 규미 제바다 중화 망비 뒤내다 체와 사실 아니 류 태종도 포바다다 포네 어디다 류치부터 소들 포네 명바 신도 나와 랑게 라바 장금 자야 미통한테 내가 배배 미바한테 되는 나로는 걔네다 간에 나서 용태 둘도 체외 중간 내내서 옥동고 다 오중을 제야라 강에 미니베서 동네자我的这个东西，我的也大概那些，但别人俺是南句，俺是南句，别人这个可说的，他你的通的个，俺他对着忙不这个说路过了说让我买的个去，他这个别人下一切多八卦个切多，俺这个他怎么那个边角个切多，他这里就忙不这个他他刚开始切的多，他可能其他这个没个。마티버 소리 통고 요다 이나 둔주 코란 게 되는데 둔주 깨사도 레드네 사도 동안 용대 차되기도 와. 뭐 좋은데도 하다.
So the different sufferings of the animal realm. So here I'm saying that the most of the animals live in the oceans, the great oceans between continents, where it's extremely dark, very, very deep. They have a wide variety of sizes and colors, that they are often found in great heaps on top of each other, like a pile of grain. And that we have to consider that if we were born into this kind of life, what are the possibilities? Here, the larger animals swallow smaller ones gather together and attack larger ones, where they infest the bodies by piercing them, boring into them. Many of the animals live in the dark depths, where it's so dark that one cannot see limbs, whether they are stretched out or folded in. And also they live where, much larger animals press down on and crush and suffocate many smaller ones, and so that they have very great difficulty in breathing. So there's this tremendous amount of various kinds of suffering. And then we have the animals, of course, who are animals that are hunted for their flesh, or grown, farmed for their flesh, for their skin, abused in many different ways. And of course here you can see that this occurs through humans acting in a very nasty and incorrect way. But also it's the karma of these animals born into this kind of life, where it's inevitably going to play out like this as too.
다 둔둘루이를 수주반네 아니 남가든게 집바다 제생게 잘 봐봐 나서베 니마르레시도 동안 둔주 rig namlani asa da kasa tunju os da tunju rida namlani sa rida kamla ne bitu da ngomba da ani kimo be tenasa treja matawa seba da ani jese soje seba da jana sobre sawa an dado so yasa da lang bombo pala soba ne gwa da jeba da miteshi do kekewa deba da choba da mo shoa da goma shoa ani deba da ana soba soke da ranga pula soba da deba soba soke tunga pa tunga ba yechen sa oda ye deba choda da dige de samrashna oda tunga de ji sosula sosara sosamare oda soda mentona oda kancha ji dilema je da yupanta ji da an ngar sabe le dige da da ji che ne zele dun nam ana choren keba was da rikasha keba ba to ne to ge shiaso ana 체제와 개발 투지는 통화 라기가 내되게 체크 개발 내되 매도서 두르게 또
And then furthermore, the kind of continuing on with the kind of really unlimitless and inconceivable sufferings related to the animal realms, that we have snake-like animals who have a constant fear of being attacked by birds of prey or getting burned in hot dust storms, and that here in each day this kind of suffering is part and parcel of their lives. Then we have wild animals who are hunted by hunters, where they are chased down by dogs hunting them, and even if they kind of escape that sort of fate, they may be killed by wild animals and other carnivorous animals, and or birds of prey and so on, and eaten in that way. And then the domesticated animals that we mentioned here, like horses, cows, pigs, donkeys, and so on, they are exploited in so many different ways, abused, they are overburdened, they are whipped, beaten, they have to pull plows, they are milked and sheared and eventually killed as well, so that there's a tremendous amount of suffering related to domesticated animal world. And then with regard to the lifespan of animals, according to the Abhidharma, it said that there are some animals that in the maximum can live for 1 eon, but for all others the lifespan is uncertain.
denrege dundrugu luden kewa za an gange de no de cha de to an wo de cha da di ju ga re sha la an dundru kewe jun an da ka da chebo le sa che pa wa da che da che ma wa la ma gu ba chi ge de ba la shu ba na la na pen zun an ni ge ju che ba na mi se re no ye che re da ka cha che wo de cha.
And so that here it's worth noting as well that that so much suffering visited upon the animal realms is really for human sake, this business of the domesticated animals and so on, and that we have to really consider that, as well as the fact that they are suffering their own suffering related to their own karmas, and the karmas for being reborn in the animal realm are specifically those who have abandoned the Dharma, forsaken the Dharma, who have given up no respect for the Dharma nor the teacher of Dharma, and that they criticize fellow practitioners, those who have entered the teachings and so on, and that here we have to kind of really understand that the kind of sufferings related to the animal realms would be really unbearable. So that this particular character, this particular category of abandoning or forsaking the Dharma is both extremely easy to accumulate and also a very heavy karma. And so, this kind of being critical of our Dharma brothers and sisters, Dharma friends, and so on, something that is very easy to come about, isn't it? If we're really honest, it's very easy to happen. And so that, so therefore, and as before, we must take the twin-pronged approach of purifying those causal negativities that we already have on our mind stream that might lead to a rebirth in the animal realm, and then to refrain from accumulating causes like this afresh. And so we really have to be very, very aware of that, and to kind of be very proactive about that. And so in this sense, in general, with regard to the lower realms, we consider how we have found that which is difficult to find and very meaningful, meaning a precious human rebirth of the leisures and the endowments, and that this is so important. On the basis of that, I will now really do whatever I can to attain the state of enlightenment, and abandon completely all such suffering of these lower realms. And that here I'm making that assertion now, not putting it on the long finger, not saying sometime in the future, because that's just a story, but actually making a very firm conviction to engage in that now. And then we kind of we make the supplication to our Guru, please bless me to be able to do this. And so then, as a result of our making our sincere supplications, then the 5 coloured nectar lights emanate from the heart center of our Guru on our crown, and that enters into the mind streams of myself and all other sentient beings all around, and that purifies, completely eradicates all obstacles to our being able to engage in the practice that will avoid creating the causes to be reborn in the lower realms. In other words, we set our sights on enlightenment as the guarantee to avoid any rebirth in the lower realms, and that in particular we reflect on the generation in our own mind streams of the necessary realizations to really make that a fact, and that here to kind of make it kind of like the certainty of that, to bring that all about. Not only that we have the blessing of the Guru on our crown, but we have the resolve to make it into a reality.
어디로 고마시 어디 소 안데 소아다वर 두제 나가 외세도 저 교회받는 한다는 습니다. 집어는 뭐저 통함에 디바다 디바 단체 냠자다 장시 다과 중수 서서체 아니 개바도 아니 녀수 숨을 계획이 디바다 디바 바자다 장수 삼사 어 장수 삼사체 어 장수 삼사 안다는 시 대다가 규탐자는 매바 장수 삼사 어디는 고마시.
And so then, like, to supplement that too, by using the 5 coloured nectar lights entering into the mind streams of ourselves and all other sentient beings, to really purify all negativities and obscurations that we have accumulated since beginning this time, in particular the obscurations and negativities that might lead to the rebirth in the lower realms, and to really purify them from the point of view of the causal and the imprint state.
뭐다 야고시 중소 선자 어디라자 최주배 통계는 세리와도 통계 되게 돼 마사오메바 중소 삼사 어디라 공부시.
And to think that's just wonderful that this has actually happened, to feel that that kind of like a pure, clear light body as a result of that purification, and also that we are endowed with all the conducive conditions for good spiritual practice, such as a long life free of illness and merit, and increasing and burgeoning kind of understanding of the scriptural and realizational teachings. To really feel that one has had the blessings of the Buddha's body, speech and mind.
아니 랑게 집어라 라마샤자 생게테 마첸자는 반대자가 라마를 보세 다리 닌가 뱀다 그런 고수도 모르서 마첸자도 답답가서 배 니베가서 수메가서 때도 쇼나 산제 고마마도 받을 제수 송수 서 고마시.
And so then we set up our own mandala, lotus, moon disc and sun disc mandala seat at our own heart center. And with the 8 petaled upturned lotus, the sun and moon disc, and then invite the Guru on our crown, using the entreating or invocation verse, "O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness and bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind." And with that first recitation, the Guru enters into our central channel, and then with the second arrives at our heart center, and with the third is seated there, so that we feel that he is there stable and unmovable until we ourselves attain the state of enlightenment.
세제이가 가가 자다르고 야샤가 사하기야서 서때는 된den가 오면 예다마 해도 다다가다 해요. 그러다 마샤만에서 어떻게 돼 이게 되게 돼 꼬아잖아. 어떻게 좀 공부시 아니 라마샤자 생기 아니 랑게 다 두가 니가 가도 내가 될에 왜세저 랑게 류 탐제라 왜기 참네 딱 그치 랑게 최주베게 딱 그치 지가소라 딱 그치 자다 롱다 티레 냠발라서 뭐다 다가니 루게 가서도 최초의 계획적인 게 안주 루다 즉 마대바 가리원 되는가 아니 시와 채수 삼사체 최초의 가서 다 튕겨를 주투했더니 야고 주소서 아니 삼로 당다 되게 돼 아니 지금 마창아 되게 딱딱하게 되게 돼 딱딱 봐 요네 가서 다 지금 최다 투자 삼로 당도 내가 개발체 중소 삼사 어디다 공부하시
And so then with the folding over of the 8 petals of the lotus, enfolding the Guru at our heart center, this is sealed initially on the top with a half Vajra, and then it is further bound by the Sanskrit vowels circling in a clockwise direction, the Sanskrit consonants in an anti-clockwise direction, and the mantra of dependent origination in a clockwise direction. And so here then that from within the figure of our Guru, light rays emanate and they kind of pervade out through the lotus petals and through our bodies, pervading every pore and every cell of our bodies, and so that every thing that is stained or incorrect or faulty in our bodies is completely purified, and that we feel we have reached this point of pure, total purification, with the every fiber of our being now empowered for a perfect spiritual practice. And so in our thinking as well, that all faulty thinking, every kind of like incorrect, improper thought is also completely purified. And then through the combination of our own most subtle wind with the body of the figure of our Guru, Shakyamuni Buddha, our own body transforms into the enlightened body of a Buddha. And through the combination of our own most subtle mind with the mind of our Guru Buddha, our own mind transforms into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And now we can see that our mind and body, speech and mind, and the body, speech and mind of our Guru Buddha at our heart are indivisible. And then that this place in which we are is also completely purified of all fault and transformed into a Buddha realm. And seeing our own body, speech and mind being indivisible from the body, speech and mind of our Guru Buddha, we realize that today is I've achieved that state of enlightenment, and that is really something worth rejoicing in. How wonderful that is. And from there we meditate on emptiness. Out of emptiness arises bliss, and then we abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness. And then through seeing ourselves as a fully enlightened Buddha, we emanate light rays from our heart equal in number to all the beings, all the sentient beings in the 6 realms, and entering in through their crowns, they are purified of all negativities and obscurations, and they spontaneously attain the state of full enlightenment as well. And then in their respective realms where they are abiding, they transformed by purifying light into Buddha realms. And so then we make a very powerful dedication, knowing that what we are visualizing now is just through the power of imagination, really. But may it become actual and manifest as quickly as possible. And we do our Lamrim prayer. From my 2 collections, vast as space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives and Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, May I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings, with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddhist teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddhist deeds be nourished for a long time, by even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere.